Hello everyone, Lila's Gigi here. I decided to come back on and show you how I'm going to close Angel's Healing Heart, the bracelet that I just created. If you used 5 hearts or 6 hearts, you probably won't need to do this, but I need to make an extension. So what I have is some macrame cord, and I've cut it, I don't know, 1.5 feet maybe. I just want to make sure that it's long enough for me to use. And I'm going to use this bead here that actually opens on the side. You could use a bead that goes straight up and down, and in that case you would put both ends straight through, but because this has a particular shape to it, I actually want it to go like this. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. Nyx Haley 22 has a instructions on how to do this on her channel, and so does Artisan Loom. But I thought I would come on and show you how I'm going to do mine because it's just a little bit different. All right, so I have the most room up here, so that is where I'm going to put my button. Now, in Trish's, what she did was she actually brought this through and made sure that she had a button that was big enough for the cord to go through. My cord is pretty big and it might be kind of tight to go through there. So all I'm going to do is use, let's see, I'll probably use my Stretch Magic. I have some Stretch Magic, and I also have some monofilament that is just jeweler's string, plastic, but it doesn't have much give to it. So I'd rather use the one with a little bit of give. This actually stretches. Okay, so I'm going to put my button on first, and you just need to decide where you want to put it. I want mine to go right here, so it's going to go right in there. It'll just sit there. So what I want to do then is I'm going to turn this over, and this is the cap band, and here are the 4 bands that are close. So I'm just going to go up through those 4 bands, maybe, and just leave that there. I have not cut this yet. So just cut it long enough to where you can tie it. You're going to be cutting off the ends of it anyway, but I like to be able to work with what I have. So I don't know, that's about 6 inches or so. Okay. And I'm going to pull one piece of it. Actually, I'm going to give it a little bit of room. Oops, lost it. There we go. I'm just going to hold it like this and pull it through those bands. I don't want to lose it, but I'm going to pull it through the bands and just pulling one end through. I'm going to take my button, and you do want a button that has a little loop in it. And I'm going to just thread this through here, just like that, and let it hang out. Then I'm going to reach up through the other side of this cap band, through those 4 bands that are there. I'm doing that because I want it pretty sturdy. And then I'm going to pull this piece that's hanging out here through. Yeah. I got caught on a, well, oh, sorry, I missed this. And I got caught on a band. All right, so I'm just pulling it through. So I have both ends hanging out here. If I give it a tug, my button sits right there. Okay, and you can see it's got plenty of room for my cord to go through. I'm sorry, to wrap around. Okay, I'm just going to tie that off. 2 or 3, and then I'm going to hide some of the tail end of it because I don't want it poking her. And one more for good measure, huh? Okay, so that's just hanging out like that. So I have a little knot in there. And I'm just going to pull this through, I don't know, a few of them. It doesn't really matter where you pull it through as long as it's kind of hidden. And try to grab both of it. Ugh. Fingers don't want to work today. Just grabbing both pieces of that and pulling it through. And then I'll do it one more time. Maybe to here. So I have that through and it's hidden and the button is secure on the end. I'm just going to trim this off. Hopefully you can see that. There's a lot of shadows in here. So my button is secure on the end of that. Nice and neat. And I'm going to go to the end that has the cap band on it. The C-clip on it. I'm just going to leave that on there so that it stays nice and sturdy. So I have decided to do this a little bit differently than the other ones. So what I want is I want my cord to come up through the bottom. And then because these beads, the holes go sideways, I'm going to take one in one side and then the other side is going to come out here. Okay, and the thing is I want where this is, I want it to be hidden by this bead. I don't want it to show. So I think, let's see. I'm just going to take my threader because this is, I can't pull this up with this because it is too thick. Okay, so I think I've decided what I'm going to do is pull it up through the top. So that means that I'm going to turn this over and go in, and I'll show you. I've decided to go in here and here. Bring my cord up through those. And you can, depending upon what kind of bracelet you have, you can you'll have to figure yours out. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put, I can see my finger through that hole right there, the shadow. I'm going to put this right through that, but not pull it out all the way. Okay, so then I want to take one end of my cord and put it through. It's like threading a needle, and I'm going to give it some length because I don't want this falling out when I pull it through. So I'm going to just turn it and give this a little bit of a tug. You might have to wiggle it, again, depending upon how thick your cord is. This one is actually really thick. So I'm going to pull, probably, it doesn't really matter whether it's the longer side or the shorter side. I'm going to pull it through and then kind of even it out a little bit. Okay. I want to take this, let me see. Okay, sorry, we're working from the back. My bad. All right, and I've got fuzzies all over this. So what I want to do now is I want my cords to be coming out the top. So I'm going to take this one and it's going to go up this way. So I have to grab my threader again, and this is just what some of my beads came on. I just cut it and save it and use it. I think Trish does the same thing. Okay, I'm going to take this, and there's an opening in here. I'm going to just slide it, put it together, and slide it through, if I can. Got one side, and the other side is over here. That's okay. I will just hold on to it and make it work. You need to go in the same spot. Here we go. Now this one is coming through the red, so I want this one to come through the red too, so I'm going to just pull it out a little bit and then move this over so that they both come up through there, maybe. All right, I think I got it. I got one of them anyway. You'll just have to fiddle with it, and I just want them to be uniform, so that's why I did that. Oh, look what I did. And you know what? I'm looking at this, and guess what? Maybe it's easier if I just push it down this way to make the eye. Oh, goodness, live and learn, right? Had no clue. Worked a lot easier than trying to get those two open pieces in the same hole. All right, so I'm going to leave this a little slack in here so I can pull this through. And again, I'll just wiggle it a little bit, remove this, and then pull this piece through. And this will be your back, okay, and this will be your front, or my front, anyway. So again, I want to hide this. So I know that these will fit through that bead. You have to make sure that your hole is big enough for this to fit through, but you don't want it so big that it's going to move on here, because that's what's going to keep it in place, going to keep your bracelet closed in place. All right, so now the decision is how I want these to lay. All right, the hearts for me are pointing out that way, so I'm going to have this heart point out that way. I'm going to take one end and slide it through. Now it's really thick, so what I have to do, excuse me, I'm going to leave this here for just a second. Where is my tape? Give me just a second. Got it. Got the tape. Okay, so you can use any kind of tape for this. I chose to use my, and you can see it's old and dirty. I chose to use my painter's tape because it's a little bit sturdier than Scotch tape, but you can certainly use Scotch tape for this. And I'm going to just cut off a small piece. Okay, it makes it easier to get that threaded through there. All right, so this one's already on. I'm going to take this one and put it on. And in order for me to do that, I need to see the end is frayed. So I need to make sure that this sits on here and is actually stuck to it, because you could pull and then it could pull right out, and I can't even guarantee that it's not going to pull right out. And then I'm just wrapping it around the end, and then I'm going to try to make a little bit of a point out of this, like that. Okay, so this is the other end, and I need this end to go through here. So let's see if we can get that to work. And sometimes if you pull it down a little bit and you put this in here, hopefully, I'm going to just, oh, there it comes. I'm just wiggling this. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this, both of them. I'm going to grab this end and this, and then wiggle this till it goes through. And that's why I wanted extra cording, because I didn't want it to fall off. Okay, so I have enough cording on here, but honestly I'm going to leave this on because I'm going to have it go through one more time. All right, so I have enough cording on here for that to work, so I'm just going to try to even this out a little bit. So, let's see. And you'll have to fiddle with it. I mean, you know, it just depends on the bracelet that you're working with. Okay, and I'll pull both ends till it's snug, and it sits right on there. And when I pull this down, it will hide. It's sort of hiding my C-clip. Let's see that, just like that. And then what we're going to do is, I've got both of these ends. It's going to go right here. Okay, so that, I think, all right, so depending upon the width of the bracelet, what it is you want, we're going to put the other bead right on here because I want it to hold this snug, okay? And if you wanted, you could even put another bead in here. And that way you could slide it up and down, and, you know, and I may just do that. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to add another bead to this, just like I just did up here. And then I'm going to add one down here. So I'll be back with you when I add this one. Okay, so I am back, and I added another bead right here. Same way I added this one. You can rewind if you need to. So I'm just showing you how I am going to do this bracelet for Angel. Okay, you can try to figure out, you know, other ways. I mean, there are other ways that you can add things to this, but that's what I want to do. All right, so I'm going to add my last bead to this. Now, if you had a barrel bead, both of your loops would come out. Let's just guess that this is a barrel bead. I'll turn it this way. Both of your loops would come out the bottom. Okay, and that's fine. That's fine if both of your loops come out of the bottom. Mine just happened to be coming out the sides. All right. If you look at Trish's tutorial, she will show you using a barrel type bead. Okay, so for me, this is the last bead I'm going to put on. I'm going to put my frayed end in first because I didn't want to put two pieces of tape on here. Okay, so that goes in one way, and the other side that's hanging out here goes in the other way. And this, it seems to pull through better for some reason. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to just pull it through and even it out. Okay. I think her wrist, she said she liked a 7-inch bracelet. Mine is 6.5, so I'll make this a little bit bigger for me and then leave some on the end here in case she wants to loosen it up. So to tighten it, you just do this, and to loosen it, you just do this. Okay? And then you can adjust, of course. All right, so let's see how that goes. Putting it right there, just like that. Okay? I would have done a smaller one, but my cord is just way too big. So I have a 6.5-inch wrist. Let's see how that fits. Fits pretty fine. I haven't even tied this off. You can see how snug that is. I haven't even tied that off. And of course that's not the back, but just like that. I think it's really pretty. And I'll just put knots in both of these. A knot in this one and a knot in that one so they don't come off. And it will be good. It will be done. Okay, perfect. So I think that is like I said, my wrist is 6.5. So I'm going to leave it just like this. There's still some play in there. And tie it off. Now I'm going to tie these a little further down. Okay, because if she decides that she wants it longer, then she's going to need to adjust this. So I'm just putting one big knot in there and cutting it. Just cutting the end of it. And about right there. Doesn't have to be perfect as long as you have your knots because you do not want it slipping out of your bead. So let's see how this is going to go. That looks about right there. I'm just looking at it. I'm just eyeballing it right here. And then I'm going to tie that off and snug up that knot and then cut the end. Okay. Oops, got hooked. So this is what my closure looks like. I happen to have 3 beads in there. You don't need 3 beads, but I chose to use 3 beads. And that's that. Okay, so that is the closure for Angel's Angel's Healing Heart bracelet. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you were able to get something out of it, and I hope she likes it. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, I decided to come back on because I wanted to show you something else. If you want to make your knot or whatever your button is hooking into, you could actually, which is what I just did, was moved this down and made it big enough for the button to go through. So it doesn't move on either side. Okay, and then again, if she wants to make it larger, she can pull here and then pull here to snug up around the button. Okay, anyway, thank you so very much for watching. If you stumbled across me by accident, please subscribe to my channel. Love to have you. And as always, be kind.